perfect law.
October 5th, 2025. Appreciation keeps us in a state of gratitude. It can be easy to take the blessings in our life for granted. For the gratitude we feel to be supplemented by the busyness and concerns of everyday life. And isn't that true? But practicing appreciation is the best way to attract even more blessings and stay open to life and love. Appreciation and gratitude keeps us in a state of awe and wonder, open to the beauty of the world, which is all around us, the kindness of other people, and the benevolence of God. With our heart and mind open to the world's wonders, we are simply magnetic. We draw to ourselves blessings large and small. Synchronicities, serendipities, and all kinds of wonderful surprises comes our way when we are appreciative. We live in the ease and grace, aware of the presence of God, and grateful for everyday life. We will give thanks to the Lord with my whole heart. I will tell of your wonderful deeds. That's from Psalm 9:1.
So grateful for everyone who serves in all the different ways that you serve here. I just want to give a round of applause to Wade, Carol, everybody. Each person here has this incredible gift that they bring. So I just want to acknowledge that. And each of you sitting here brings something else to the service. You bring your energy, many of you bring your volunteering, some of you bring snacks, like you're my favorite. But I just want to acknowledge you. So if you will now, just take a deep breath with me. And just settle into this space. And say with me together our statement of being. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. That is the truth. So now as we come into this moment of prayer, this time of reflection, I invite you just to bring into your heart, into your mind, anyone you wish to hold in prayer. Be sure to include yourself, and so often leave us out. Bring in any situations in your life, in the community, in the world. Bring in all of these concerns or questions, these prayer requests, and lay them at the altar. Father, Father, everything God, we relax our body and quiet our mind in this space as we let go of these concerns and worry. Consciously releasing any belief in lack or limitation. We rest in the perfect peace of the Christ within us. We release that need to know how and rest in faith. We turn our attention this moment wholly to God, to one inexhaustible source of all good. Focusing on the truth that God is our supply. And this supply is infinite, abundant, and constantly flowing. There are no limits to the possibilities, to the answers that are available. So this time of prayer, we release and affirm that we are God's perfect channel for good. The enthusiasm and passion, the zeal of this Christ mind flows through us right now in this moment, inspiring us to live and to give and to express generously, to believe in the unlimited power of the universe to answer our prayers, to clear the way, to show us the path that is ours to take. We declare that we are open to receive, and we are empowered to share, to be the answer to the prayers that we're meant to show up. We live in this flow of abundance, knowing that as we give of our love, of our faith, of our time, our talents, our treasures, all the ways we give, all the ways we stand in our faith and believe, this creates a joyous, magnetic vacuum for greater good to rush into our lives and be expressed through us. So we know that this prayer is not a request to some outside, distant deity. It is the truth of our being right now in this moment. We remember that we are one with the limitless flow of God. And as we align our thoughts with the principle of circulation, we know that as we give, as we stand in this state, those answers show up and return to us in the way to the healing, to the blessing, to the resolution as we give. So we give thanks in this moment with immense joy and zeal that we are already blessed. Our channels are open. And the demonstration of faith and abundance is complete. As we remember who is moving in and through and as us now and always. And so it is. Amen. And now we take another deep collective breath as we prepare for a time of meditation, continuing this reflective energy flowing through us. Allow yourself to feel the energy, that light of spirit within you. As we settle into this space, we return to that memory of wholeness. Taking one more deep breath, drawing in the energy of life into your heart. With your next breath, just exhale slowly, an intentional breath out, releasing any tension or anxiety or doubt that may still remain. Just notice. Notice where you may be holding on to something that no longer serves you. Release everything that you can. And with your next breath, we release the rest. Now I invite you to focus in the area of your solar plexus, just above your navel. That place of intuition, that gut feeling. This is the center of your divine power, the home of your spiritual will and your zeal. Imagine a tiny golden spark glowing at the center. This is the seed of your holy enthusiasm. It's the presence of God within you. So breathe into this golden spark within and just feel its energy radiating throughout. moving through you, expressing from you. As you breathe in, imagine that spark igniting. It glows brighter, warmer. With every inhale, you feel the oxygen of faith. With every exhale, you fan that flame of action. Faith and follow through. As we take in that faith, we're able to express it in our actions, in our thoughts, in our words. But just feel the warmth of the zeal spreading throughout your body. Feel it as an excited, positive energy that says, yes, I am ready for what is mine to do. I am the dynamic energy of God in action. I am the open channel for good, for prosperity, for abundance, for love to flow through me and to me. My enthusiasm is my prayer, and my generosity is my magnet. Let's rest in this feeling for a moment of inspired, joyous zeal. And feel yourself get fired up and connected and ready to live and express from this limitless spiritual supply. There are no limits where God is, and God is right here within each and every one. So as you breathe into that knowing, allow yourself to be filled with hope, to be filled with light. Allow yourself to be open and willing to share that light, to spread that hope, to embody all that it means to express the Christ within. And when you're ready, begin to gently bring your awareness back to this room. And bring with you an open heart, an open mind, and our eagerness to be the light within. When you're ready, open your eyes, come back into this space. And if you're feeling it, allow yourself to bring a smile to your face, to be this radiant energy in the room. And join me in singing our meditation response. Good morning, everyone. Good to see your faces. I always love, like, we close our eyes in prayer meditation, and then, like, magic, I open my eyes and there's more people. I want you to know that even if you come in once we started, the front row is always available. I promise not to hide. I'm just saying. Bonus. I love it. So you're probably wondering what this crazy charade of stuff is up here. I'll get to that. Fun is coming. Don't you love the feeling of knowing that fun is coming? I love fun. I don't know about you, but fun is like what it's all about for me. And October is not only the month of Zeal, so we're going to focus on the power of Zeal this month, but it also happens to be Positive Attitude Month. Wouldn't you love to see more of that in the world? I would. And guess what? If we want to see it, we have to be it. Today also happens to be Get Funky Day. I'm not exactly sure what we're supposed to be celebrating on that day, but I love the sound of it, so let's get a little funky. As Carol mentioned, my talk today is igniting your inner passion. And so often we hold back. The world is feeling heavy. Maybe some friends are going through some challenges or grief. And in those moments, we tend to shrink a little. But I want to remind you that those are the moments that we need, the world needs, our friends need, for us to rise up in a state of hope, love, zeal, enthusiasm. So instead of shrinking back, we can be compassionate and loving and also uplift. Isn't that what we're here to do? I mean, truly. The zeal, it's often misunderstood. Charles Fillmore talked about this Christ presence within us, this energy, this flow. And he identified zeal, he said, as, we understand it as enthusiastic, dynamic energy, but he talked about it being the power that keeps the other divine powers, like wisdom, strength, love, working at their highest capacity. He said, without zeal, our other qualities are passive, dormant, or lukewarm. I thought that was interesting. It's like this fire in your belly, this enthusiasm that moves you from intention to action. Now that's a funny one for me, because every morning I begin my day by texting a friend my intention for the day. It's the energy I'm setting for the day that I intend to go out into. And yet, it's so true that if we stop there, it kind of means nothing, right? So, I don't know if you guys hear it, I feel like I'm breathing on my front, so pardon my fidgeting. But if we don't put action to our prayers, so to speak, then they become very passive. Often we are the answer to our own prayers or to somebody else's. And zeal and imagination are my favorites. And I'm also very in touch with my inner child. That might have something to do with it. I can get excited and be a good cheerleader. And when I feel better, I do better. And it's contagious. So when we have these intentions, the next step would say to be, I don't know, what is mine to do about it? What am I going to do with that intention? Charles Fillmore defines zeal as the conserving, concentrating, dynamic power of spirit that builds and sustains the body. He said enthusiasm, earnestness, fervor, the desire to execute. So think about your prayers. Think about your wishes. Think about what you wish you could see in the world or in your life. What would it take to put them into action? Now, all right, I know there's one part of most of our brains that went, well, if they would. I know. If they would do things my way, the world would be much better too. But I want to invite you, at least for a moment, to turn that attention here and say, okay, what would it take? What would it take? When my kids were teenagers, I used to tell them, especially when they were having an attitude, attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? Now, the threat to the teenagers was you can choose to catch mine. And I'm like that morning person that annoys people because I wake up happy. They're not. And I'm like, you can choose to catch mine, or eventually I'll catch yours, and then we'll all suffer. And so think about the energies in the world you wish were different. And this isn't a place for judgment, but be really honest and check in to see how often you catch that energy. How often do you start showing up irritated and cranky and fussing? Because there's plenty of reasons to fuss. There really are. And when's the last time a chronic complainer changed the world for the good? Right? Just saying. Zeal, though, is what gives this spiritual practice, boom, it lights this fire. There's this conviction that fuels your prayers. It's really this excitement that drives you to serve. For those that volunteer, I don't assume you do it because you're forced to, or because you think you have to. Usually, at least in the volunteer role, people show up because they love to see the smile on other people's faces or to lift somebody else up. And if we can give that same energy, I don't know, to every part of our life, imagine how different it would be. But we have to ignite this passion in order to drive our journey. So this is where I want you to consider the law of circulation and prosperity. Now don't freak out. People hear prosperity and they're like, oh, all of a sudden financial concerns rush in and pressure builds. Prosperity is so much more than money. It's so much more than income. So when we think about the law of circulation, it's what we put out returns. The simple metaphor, which I need to put into practice in my home, is if you have no room in your closet, in your dresser drawers, then the universe doesn't assume you need any more clothes. If there's no room, ladies, on your shoe rack, what if you don't get to get another pair until you give a pair away? Ooh. Take a breath. But really think about it. If we are so closed that we don't make room to receive, then the universe doesn't judge good, bad, right, or wrong. If you are focusing on everything that frustrates you, the universe says, oh, is that what you want to see? Okay, hold on, let me satisfy that need and give you more to notice. So if we make space and open a welcoming space and to receive, then that tells the universe you're ready. Anyone here ready for more good, for more love, for more prosperity? Prosperity might mean more friends. It might mean better health. It might mean more shoes. I mean, I don't know. No judgment, right? Really think about that. How are you blocking your own good? And sometimes we do that by going, oh, no, there's people who need it more than me. Well, that's limiting God. Because there is enough for all of us in the universe. And I know it doesn't always appear that way. But statistically they say there is enough food in the world to feed every single person 8 times over. So it's never a matter of lacking resources, but maybe lacking resourcefulness or people being willing to be a resource, right? So again, we start here. The energy of zeal is connected to this universal law of circulation. Think of a running stream. It's vibrant, it's clean, it's full of water, it's flowing, it's that life in and out, right? Doesn't a stream feel peaceful usually? Unless we're splashing in it, then it just becomes fun, and we're here to have fun. Didn't I say that? But think about if that water stopped. It becomes stagnant. And if it becomes stagnant, it quickly loses its vitality. The same is true for the energy of life. If we don't keep moving, then we become stuck. If we stop that willingness to give, then we close that ability to receive. And like I said, sometimes that means, no, I'm just supposed to do all the doing. Anybody here have trouble asking for help? I mean, seriously. I've shared stories with you before. I have a high ceiling in my laundry room, and instead of asking for help from a tall person, I climbed on the ladder and had to have an extra step just to kind of sort of reach it. And I work for a company that is all about safety, and every step of the way I'm like, man, I could get fired for this if I were at work. And yet, was I willing to ask somebody to come over to change a light bulb? That seems so silly. But when I go, if someone asks me to help change a light bulb, and I would feel grateful to do it. I would feel like I get to be a blessing. And so who are we to stop that opportunity from being for someone else? As we give, we receive. Catherine Ponder is a wonderful New Thought teacher, all about prosperity. She's amazing. She said, your good will come to you in exact proportion of your giving. Ooh, breathe that in. You know, after the message, we're going to read the Lord's Prayer. We're going to say that together. And it talks about, forgive me as I forgive. Same thing. Are you holding on to resentments? Well, then you may not receive all the forgiveness you're looking for. If you're not willing. Read her quote again. Your good will come to you in the exact proportion to your giving. And for me, sometimes when I'm in the greatest need is when I become the least willing. You know, we hold on, and when we're holding on, can we receive? No, because we're so busy trying to hold on, right? And like the cat coming off the curtains, what do? We destroy things in the process, right? So this isn't just about accounting, though. This isn't just about money. This is establishing your own channel of good in many ways. Edwin Gaines in the 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. She's a dear friend and mentor of mine. I've spent a lot of time with her over the years. One of the 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity that Edwin Gaines talks about is not just tithing, it's not just setting goals, it's not all that stuff. And that too, but it's forgiveness. Oh, forgiveness clears the way. But again, if we hold on too tightly, whether it's money or your time, your talents, love. You ever held back love because someone wasn't behaving the way they should? We all have. We're human, right? And then we wonder why they treat us poorly in return. Well, even exchange of energy, right? When we give freely, joyously, fueled by that power of zeal, we open ourselves up to even greater outpouring of the love and the good that we give. It's tied into everything we do. So I want to talk to you today about the idea of generosity. It's more than a concept, it's more than a word. It's really a spiritual practice. It's an act of giving from a place of love. And really hear that generosity isn't about just giving. In fact, Edwin Gaines talked about the idea of when you give, and one big example she always uses is to that homeless person on the street. Do you give with, oh, you poor thing. Oh, I just feel so bad for you. Because then the energy you're giving is lack and limitation. Or do you give as if you were giving to a friend to bless that person without attachment to what they may or may not do with what you give to them? Can you give from a place of love instead of resistance and obligation? Right? Well, we resist, persist. So if we're resisting with that sense of resentment because we have to do this, then we're giving to that which will grow more of that. Or can you give from this place of love, this generous place, not from a place of lack, but of opening our hearts to the next person, knowing that we're part of this infinite divine supply. The Myrtle Fillmore wrote, it is through giving that we open the channel of our being to the inflow of God's substance. When we give generously, we're not just helping others, but we're declaring our faith in the universe's ability to provide for us in return. It's really a statement, like I talk about every week with tithing. We are saying thank you for God being our source that supplies our needs. As we give, we know that it's not taking away from us, but that it's blessing another and will be returned to us multiplied. And think about love. That's the one thing, truly, that you can never run out of. Can you be like, you know what? I can't love you so much today because this one needs a little more love over here this week. They're going through a hard time, so let me take it from you. No. Right? We don't love one child more than another or one pet more than another. We might like one more than another. I mean, come on. But there's never enough. We can't run out. And if God is our supply, then that applies to everything. So the core of unit teachings is this beautiful principle of giving and receiving. And we understand that this flow of abundance is a cycle. Again, as we make the space, it flows back in. And that's where these goodies up here come into play. We're going to get to that in just a moment, though. So I'm going to talk about this idea of prosperity and abundance. Charles Fillmore taught that money is the measure of man's faith in the principles of circulation. Edwin Gaines said that all debt is a form of unforgiveness. Again, where are we blocking our good? Because sometimes we block it in this way and it affects this because it's all tied in. But it's not, again, it's not just money that's important. And that's where people usually go to in their minds with prosperity. It's about so much more. It's the consciousness behind it. In that, it's really our time, our talent, our treasures, this law of circulation that activates this divine flow in our lives. It's this consciousness of giving as a spiritual act, a way of declaring that I trust in the flow of life. Eric Butterworth explains this way. He says, the word prosperity, I love this, comes to us from the Latin root which literally translates according to hope, or to go forward hopefully. Doesn't that feel better than where our minds are trained to go? According to hope. And if you think about prosperity, think about prosperity in your relationships. Or gardeners, prosperity is when it's a good year of rain and balance that allows all your vegetables and herbs to grow, right? It is what feels good. And lack is when we're worried and anxiety and concern. So it's really about returning to faith, returning to hope. Now, metaphysically, the meaning of prosperity is this. In the revealing word, it says, the consciousness of God as the abundant, everywhere present resource, unfailing, ready for all who open themselves to it through faith. It's returning to faith. Prosperity is based on the consciousness possession of the idea of God's abundance in the back of all things. Things come and go, but the idea of abundance endures. So the difference between material prosperity and spiritual prosperity is really the omnipresent substance of spirit as the source of supply, versus that lack thinking that says, oh my gosh, if I lose my job, or wherever that thought comes from, if this doesn't work out. So it's fear and faith. And as we turn back to faith, we see that more shows up and flows into our lives. So one of the greatest obstacles to prosperity is fear. It's between peace and faith and love and fear. And fear can manifest in so many forms, right? Fear of lack, fear of failure. And would never not do something because they were afraid they'd fail. And if you don't try, you already failed, or you never get a chance to know, right? Here's a big one, show up as fear of the unknown. I've shared with you all before, my job, the division I work for is up for sale. And when I talk to people who are spiraling in this fear, it's not so much that they're afraid of losing a job as they are afraid of not knowing what's going to happen. But isn't that the place where we've simply disconnected from our faith? It could be something even greater. Have you ever had something happen you didn't want to and then it led you somewhere even greater that you might not have gone to if you hadn't had that loss? That's how I got to this job 10 years ago. Another one didn't work out. Back when they laid a bunch of us off, I didn't say it out loud. I think I should have gotten a gold star for that, but my thought was, oh, thank you. Because it was not a healthy place to be, and I wasn't taking the steps. So by replacing fear with faith, we empower ourselves to manifest our desires. And there's many ways to do that. Henry David Thoreau said, if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. But we first have to decide to go in that direction rather than be paralyzed in our fear. So this idea of generosity is what I want to pose to you today as a challenge. An invitation, if you don't like that word. Some people get fueled by challenge, other people get, that inner teenager shows up and says, you're not the boss, I'm going to challenge. So use the word that works for you. I like a big challenge, and I love an open invitation. The dynamic power of Zeal meets practical reality of our lives with the spiritual faith that we have. So this truth that prosperity is more than money is what I'm demonstrating here. It's really a wholeness. It's this well-being, this overflowing abundance in our lives. And there's so many ways that we can give. Money is a spiritual symbol, surely. It represents, that our lives in so many ways. It's a willingness to trust, right? But Edwin Gaines said that to not ask for abundance, she said, demonstrate it. Demonstration means doing something. Giving is the greatest demonstration. So what you see here are just a few ways that we give around here. There's gifts, you'll see. And I want you to really hear that. They came in garbage bags, which is on purpose. Because so often what we don't even think about or we consider garbage can be a gift. Do you know, now I don't know what last month's total is, but do you know that the month before last, the vets, that goes to the vets, that bin out there where you put clothes and shoes only, we earn by the pound, we get a donation by the pound, what goes in there, $70 the month before last. That's pretty amazing. Now, I wasn't quite ready. I had forgotten that I wanted to bring this in, so yesterday I'm like, okay, you have tons of clothes to donate, go find some. And in a matter of minutes, I was able to find just a stack of pants. I didn't even have to leave that corner of my closet. And there's plenty of other corners to gather stuff to donate. But start, even if it's just a little bit, what a gift that is. Not just because we receive a benefit from it, but because that is now going to vets as their blessing. We're being the answer to their prayers. Do you know that the grocery bags go to, where was I told? They go to Motor City Mitten Mission. And they are woven into mats for the homeless, which is more sanitary, more sterile than cloths and blankets. That's where those bags go. Now, come on. I have recyclable bags too, but how many of us leave them in the car when we go to the grocery store and you still end up with a bunch anyway? How easy would it be to bring them in instead of throwing them? Or instead of piling them in your garage, because that's where I got that bag. It's been in my garage for a while, we need to come here. And the bottles, this little extra 10 cents, I rarely drink soda, and yet I managed to collect a whole bag. See the toilet paper rolls? No. Those are paper towel rolls. I'm like, oh, I never remember to collect those things. And yet yesterday, because I got a phone call right as I was washing my hands, I'm like, I never changed my toilet paper. So I'm like, wait, do it one, because I got distracted and didn't finish that chore. These go and they are shredded. Where do these go? These go to Detroit Dog Rescue. And they get shredded up for bedding and pets. Through these simple acts of bringing in your trash, kind of, truly, really, we are helping support pets and vets. We're helping support this community. There are so many different ways to give, so I want to propose a generosity challenge to you. It's a fun, tangible way, a meaningful way for us to practice these different principles that we teach. So it's really an invitation to give joyously and intentionally, and to increase your commitment to the flow of good in your life. Again, is anyone willing or interested in receiving more good in their life? Me. Yeah, I see hands waving. So as you know, our beautiful church home is It's a vital part of this ministry, and like any home, it requires care and attention. So we have before us an incredible opportunity. And this opportunity is to fully own our building. Now it's funny, because they own more on my condo, and I went, wait, can we do this for home projects too? But okay, let's start with church. We have an opportunity to pay off our mortgage. And in the coming weeks, I'm going to let Betty come up and talk to you a little bit more about that. But this isn't just a burden of having a bill. It's a blessing. Imagine if you remember that every time you paid your mortgage every week, or every month. Not weekly, let's not do that. But even like, okay, I don't know how many people write checks anymore. I did write a check, I have my tithe check here. I always, on my checks I even have printed, I am blessed. And I always say, thank you God, when I'm paying a bill, whether online or in a check. But this is an opportunity for us, because imagine what we could do in the community if we didn't have a mortgage payment. The resources currently going towards these payments could be channeled directly into our ministry, into outreach, I love outreach, into beautiful new initiatives. This also happens to be Financial Planning Month. So, isn't that cool? When I saw that, I'm like, why didn't you even plan that? I love how this universe shows up. But it's a two-part challenge. So one is to prayerfully consider extending your financial giving. Now I know that's a part of prosperity nobody wants. But really think about your home. And what if you could pay off your mortgage by donating, or by paying a few extra dollars? And wait, there's a word for that, accountants, help me. If you start to pay down your principal, thank you can actually pay it off in years earlier. Whoa! I need to work on this financial planning month in my own way, because that would be wonderful, right? We have the opportunity to do the same. So whether it's through tithing of that dedicated 10%, or through a generous one-time gift, and maybe it's $5 or $10 extra a week. I am terrible about cash. I reached in my purse and I found $3 extra. That's all the cash I have on me. What if it's just that? And Betty talked, and I don't remember the number she gave me. She'll share it in the coming weeks, but these little bits, $5, $10, $3, add up. Imagine if everyone in this room grabbed a few extra bucks in their wallet and gave it each week. You might miss out on a Starbucks coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I think actually there's probably a lot more than $3. But what if we just redirected that, because it's not giving up, redirected it here? Or you can make, again, maybe a one-time gift that just says, you know, I would like to give a big gift. And we're going to focus on this for the next 2 months, just October and November. Not out of obligation, but out of excitement, desire to expand the flow of good. And then start thinking about what you would love to see the church do with those funds after we pay off the mortgage next year. What is something we'd love to start, or an outreach we'd love to expand upon? Do you know that every week, and starting next week, we are going to start displaying our tithes. Every week, not only do your tithes come in, and last week, there are some payments that come in once a month. Some people tithe just once a month. So last week was the first, which means it was up a little bit than normal. Last week, we brought in $2,255. Do you know that every week the church tithes, because it's a teaching in the scripture, the law of circulation, we give back 10% to where we're spiritually fed. And sometimes it's to places like the dogs or the vets that really do spiritually feed our souls. This past week, $225 was sent to the Salvation Army for Thanksgiving dinner. Let's give ourselves a round of applause for that. It also might be through bringing in your bags, your bottles, whatnot. But time and talent is also another way. Maybe it's volunteering. If money is tight, you can expand your channel of prosperity by giving to the most precious resource, your time. And you heard Dave 2 weeks ago, I think, talk about some open volunteer roles that we have. And there's probably half the people in this room who tell you of other ways. And volunteering doesn't have to be every week. It can be just every now and then, once a month. Giving of your time fills a space where maybe that need is unfulfilled at the time. You know, you can also give, and if you buy something for the church, I have a receipt here, for in-kind donation. I bought what I'm about to talk about next, and I don't necessarily want the money back. But do you know if you give a receipt for something you buy for the church, that at the end of the year, that's included in your tax write-off? Wow, so I'm not an accountant. There's a better word for that too. You can actually claim this just by giving that receipt. If you buy snacks to bring in, you can give that receipt and say, hey, this is my donation. I'm not asking for a refund. I'm giving an in-kind donation. But here's the next thing, and this is my invitation to all of you. In addition to those things, again, just consider what is right for you. Consider the excitement and the opportunity we have to pay off this building and do even greater things. You can adopt a piggy bank. Now that seems silly. We are going to give up. I had it here and someone took it away. I'm guessing I know who. No, there it is. Someone put it away. I put things up here on purpose. We are going to, no, this is a different one, so someone did take away one I had. We are going to release the money tree for now, the little bags. We're going to do something similar with the bags. Now we're releasing these just because there's actually low participation, but also because we're going, I know, Betty had said, she said it was kind of low, but we're releasing these for a different reason. We're going to take on a different challenge, and I open this up to all of you to come and pick out the personality of your pig, because they all have different personalities, right? And consider this your opportunity, and they're fun that you just push it, it opens up, and look at that. And add your spare change, your pennies, your dollars, your quarters, every now and then. And for the next 2 months, see who can fill their little bank, and you're welcome to come get another if you need. If we run out, I can create more. This was fun. I was pretty amused doing this. But spare change adds up. So ladies, am I the only one when you change purses? You come up with a baggie full of old cough drops and lint and candy wrappers and butters. I did, you're welcome, Betty. I picked out the old cough drops and the candy wrappers.
That's why the coin machine always jams.
Because not everybody picks out the cough drops and the candy wrappers. Exactly. This little bag just came from me changing my purse. This will add up. And it's something that often when we change a bag or clean out the couch or the washer, we toss aside and don't even use. We toss it somewhere in a drawer. So what if this became our drawer? And we just see what we can do. And for accountability's sake, that little board over there each week is going to have how much we brought in and the tithe we sent out. So that you, the owners of this church, the community, those who contribute, whose home this is, will see what we're doing. Does that feel okay to you?
Yep.
When you give with zeal, there's this passion and conviction that you're an integral part of this divine flow. Not just of your church. You're declaring a belief in an abundant universe throughout your life. And you're drawing it to yourself. Catherine Ponder in the Dynamic Laws of Prosperity said this. She said, your giving is a sacred act, a spiritual declaration of your faith that there is always more than enough. This is a step of faith. It's a collective demonstration that we trust in the divine source. It's a loving, direct, and powerful way to play a little bit and see what we can do to secure our future, not only for our church again, but to expand our own good. So remember that as we give, we receive. And I'm so grateful that you're willing to play with me. So I want to close not only by gathering my tithes, which I will put in the basket today to start with, but also with a couple affirmations. So repeat after me. Spirit's fire of zeal ignites my supply.
Spirit's fire
Of zeal ignites my supply. Divine circulation flows through me now.
Divine circulation flows through me now.
So hold in your mind for just a moment what you hope to draw into your life. Think about the good that you would like more of. And again, maybe it is opportunity. Maybe it's friendship. Maybe it's healing. Maybe it is financial. And without needing to know the how, I want you to picture your life, the look on your face, the feeling in your heart, as if you had stepped into the manifestation of that right now. it is done. Can you feel it? Feel it as if it is done. And now I want you to picture, in your own imagination, what you can see this church doing after we pay off the mortgage. What do you see us doing? I know for some, they'd like to see more outreach. I've heard others would like to build a ladder. Just picture and imagine the excitement around whatever it is in your own mind. Imagine taking the sense of zeal out into the world and that energy becoming contagious. Your attitude of zeal and enthusiasm and abundance and joy spreads. And see it spreading like a radiant light, moving into the hearts of your neighbors, your community. See it spreading into the hearts of the strangers you pass on the street. See it moving into the hearts of people around the world, leaders and family members. See this radiance of spirit remembered, returning us from fear to faith. And see what it looks like when we follow through with that beautiful faith that is our divine source. Take a deep breath. Are you willing? Are you willing to be open and receptive? Are you willing to participate in the law of circulation? Because only good can come when we are the good. And so it is. You can adopt your piggy banks after service. But for now, hold that vision in your heart and see the abundance blooming and growing, harvested, as we say together the Lord's Prayer. Yes! One person's really is office in the church here, at the Salvation Army a couple months ago, I ran into a mini peace pole. Now, I love a peace pole, and that's my favorite thing about most community churches, that they have them with a different peace be with you in different languages. For $2, I got this little mini peace pole, and it is like the greatest treasure that someone else didn't want. So what might you fill your trunk with to give away? And here I'll tell you about the details of that. Take a deep breath and hold in your hand, whether you're giving monetarily today or not, all the ways in which you give. Think if you are a volunteer here, I want you just to hold the energy from which you give. I want you to think about the ways you give blesses, your time, your talent, your treasure. Maybe you sit and listen to someone who needs an open ear. Maybe you brought a snack in, or you come and fix something during the week that no one knows who does it. It's like magic, except it's not. Someone actually came and gave of their time. Maybe it's an amount that you think may not make much of a difference, but I want to tell you that every dime, every dollar adds up and changes lives. So hold that in the space of love as we say together our offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give joyfully and easily, for the universe is my source, and abundance is my nature. And as we give in all the ways we give, we bless our pennies, we bless our plastic bags, we bless our toilet paper, and even our paper towel rolls, the clothes we no longer use, the bottles that we think is just a dime. As we bring our offerings into this basket as we leave each week, we bless them, and even if you're not putting a monetary donation in, take a moment to pause and just say, we bless all the ways in which this will ripple out from us, in which, as we bless this community, as we bless one another, we are blessing the world and bringing a sense of love, seeing that ripple out into all the corners where maybe love has been forgotten, where maybe light has been forgotten. And we radiate those corners of the world with our love. The hearts that are hurting, we see that. Healing, reaching them. So as we bless what we give, remembering you're giving more than to the financial aspects of this church, which as we give in that way, we're also blessing the community in all the ways in which it ripples out from us. But as you give in relationships, as you give in your attitude to the person driving on the freeway with you, remind me of that during the work week. As we give in all of these ways, what we're giving out is what is returning to us. So this week, we rise up into a consciousness of faith, of love, of zeal and enthusiasm. Isn't it exciting to think about that spreading, rather than hate or hurt or disharmony? So as we bless these offerings, we just say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
There's a hope for all who've gone astray. There's a road for all who've lost their way. There's a light that leads us into grace. Forever shines, it never fades. There's a Bible stirring in my heart. Sings the love about these prayers and bars. Slave no longer to the dark. Forever changed, forever was. Oh, Jesus, you're my liberty. From the grave that once held me, I'm running to your wild liberty. My liberty. Mercy flowing through my veins. With every heartbeat I can feel your grace. It's a freedom I cannot explain. Forever changed,
participated in services and many other events at Church of Today. And one of the wonderful events that took place, courtesy of Mike Wickett, who always did January and February, for about 4 or 5 years in a row, motivational speaker, very popular, came up with the idea of service. How could, and please picture 1,500 people. The church was packed, all of the classrooms were packed, every event room was packed. And Mike Wickett asked, how can we help society? And believe it or not, people came up, many groups were formed, and one of the groups that I got to participate in just a little bit later on was called People Making a Difference. And let's see, Mike Wickett, Michael LUT is in the room. His mother Priscilla was one of the original people. And if there's anybody else, my friend Sharon Kirkhook, and if there's anybody else in the room that was part of that group, please raise your hand. We came up with a list of many folks, not knowing how many and where they were, but many in other Unity churches. Well, we did this as volunteers. The group that I joined was called People Making a Difference, and those that originated it, Noel Cott, many of you may know that name, know him personally, and I'm sad to say he did pass away just a very short while ago, in case you're not aware of that. The Contreras, again, were founding members of this church. Lil was here just a few Sundays ago, back to Arizona with her at this point. And even though I joined it later on, I was instrumental in keeping the group going right up until the point of COVID. And COVID just knocked everything out for us. Along with Diane, Jeff, she and I were partners with this. We did it as volunteers, but we did charge a very minimal amount and to cover expenses, equipment, and etc. But there was always a little bit left over. Well, as I said, COVID brought everything to a screeching halt, and we had put the leftover funds we had in a savings account. And I talked to Diane and Jeff not too long ago and said, you know, we need to close this up because People Making a Difference was good. Over 20 years, over 25 years, this took place, I have to tell you. And anyway, she and I, because our names were on the account, and because it was a 501c3, we have to donate the money. It's not that we can put it in our pocket. So it is my great honor today. I am making a deposit of 1/2 of what we took, and as soon as Diane Jett shows up, she will donate the other half for a total of $1,554. As you were speaking today, I thought there's a grand plan. We are all part of a grand plan. And I'm so happy to be part of this today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Honor
already give. And when you notice a place where you're giving, maybe it's just a kind ear or a kind word or a smile, bless it with love, and just see it spreading from there. Because you are such incredible givers, and so often we just don't notice. And see that love spreading throughout the world. It starts right here with us. Now, if you'll join me in our prayer of protection, blessing our love, blessing our world, blessing each and every one, blessing each person we held in prayer. And say, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence